Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Wednesday, April 27th edition of our video devotionals. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we call this Winning Wednesday. And we're winners in the Lord Jesus Christ. There's no doubt about it. And as I was looking at as I do my devotions here and read through the Bible, we're at the very last part of Second Kings today. So this will finish up Second Kings with chapters 24 and 25. And this is day number 117 of the year, if that means anything to anybody. But it is the middle part of the work week and school week. And then, of course, Wednesday night Bible study, sermon, whatever the format is at your church, revivals going around, things like that. Then be sure to attend, and if you possibly can, and make that a matter of faithfulness. And it encourages people. It helps you. And, it's a good thing to do. It's the right thing to do, really. All right, so let's jump into things here today. 2 Kings 25. A lot of details here, but we're going to start in verse number 8, read down to verse number 12. It says, "And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem." Now notice this, here's the sad commentary here. "And he burnt the house of the Lord and the king's house and all the houses of Jerusalem, and every great man's house burnt he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldees that were with the captain of the guard brake down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuzaradan the captain of the guard carry away. But the captain of the guard left of the poor of the land to be vine dressers and husbandmen." Just a simple thought here as I look at the demise of the entire nation of Israel. And of course, we've already spoken, and many of you know this, but the kingdom became divided after Solomon. And you had that northern kingdom, it was called Israel. And then the southern kingdom was called Judah. Put them together, of course, it was all Israel. And but the sad thing is, as God would send the prophets, and God reminded and said, "Look, if you live right, do right, follow me, make me your God, and not gods you create or the gods of the heathen round about you." He says, "If you'll serve me, then you'll be perpetually, you'll go forward, and you'll have a king on your throne." However, God said, if you don't, then destruction's coming, and this is the culmination of that. So as I saw there, the house of the Lord was burnt, the king's house was burnt, all the houses of Jerusalem, all the great men's houses, and then the wall of Jerusalem was broken down. All of that just didn't have to be. And realize God didn't just sit back and say, "Well, it's happened," and God allowed this to happen. You could really say God made it happen. God used Nebuchadnezzar as an instrument to bring forth judgment upon his own people. And of course, Nebuchadnezzar, he was judged, as we'll read further when we get in the Bible, he was judged, and eventually his kingdom was judged harshly. But the point is that as we look at our lives, there's destruction and things that just doesn't have to be if we just simply say we're going to live right and do right. It sounds so general to say that, and yet what a great nation of Israel. Imagine those soldiers, those Chaldees, as they are burning these treasures. Imagine the house of the Lord and the brilliance of that, the king's house, all the houses, that wall of everything that was done. Imagine the mind saying, "Wow, what a waste!" That even though we're the conquerors here, and yet, man, what a waste here. And so it's just sad to see things that don't have to be like that. So let's decide in our day, in our time, we're going to make sure that we're not going to be the problem. We're going to be the solution when it comes to making things go forward, that things that are right. It's just like your own church. Sadly, one day could it happen that one day that building would be leveled, or someone purchases it because it's no longer a church, and because of bad decisions, people not living right, people that decide that the house of God's not important. You don't want that to happen, and anything like that. Personal lives of people. You see lives and you see people and say, "Man, that didn't have to happen." But you know what? God says, "I will allow things to happen." And sometimes it's the very judgment of God. And then think on the big scale of a nation. We've said it, you've heard it. When I was a kid, I heard it. And here as a preacher, I say the same thing. You don't want our nation to be destroyed. You don't want one day somebody to come in and destroy all the things that we have, and there it is. It's done, and because of our decision making, not because God says, "Oh, I didn't see that happening." No, God sees what happens. God builds and God brings down. And we just have to be reminded of that and make sure we do our part. So really, that's all I need to say today. I think you understand that as you read that and have read it. You understand that God had made that choice a long, long time ago if the people of God made their choices. So let's make our right choices today. Today's the day to make that right choice. So we hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow as we get into First Chronicles. And we'll see you tomorrow. Hope you stay healthy and blessed and safe and all of that. And we'll see you tomorrow.